Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be doing another character from the Crafter Square crochet kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, I did actually originally get all the instructions of the characters via email, and by happenstance, I stumbled upon a Dollar Tree and I said, let's see if they have any of these kits. So lo and behold, when I got there, I got the remaining 5. So in the last video, we did the whale. There are 5 more characters and I found them. So I am really blessed and excited because when we did the last 6 characters, I could not find them for the life of me. And that has happened to any of the crochet stuff that I've done from the Dollar Tree. The planterns, the keychains. I don't even think I got all the keychains, but it hasn't been requested. So if you need a requested video, you can always send me instructions via email. Again, I do have all 5, remaining 5 besides the whale. So just comment below if you want to see another character next. I do have a list of requested videos to do, and that includes my nail videos. So please be patient with me getting through that list. I have lefty videos as well. If you are lefty and you really need a lefty video, comment below and I'll tack that onto my list. Mind you, the lefty videos will be coming after the list is up. So hopefully you're able to see the righty videos and it'll be able to help. Okay, so let's get into this. We are going to do the donut today. I think this is really cute. I mean, it's not as cute actually as the other characters that I've seen, but the fact that they have a donut, I mean, let's do it, right? So in this kit, it includes a plastic needle, yarn, stuffing crochet hook, and plastic beads. As you know, I do not use the beads. These are for the eyes. It's a choking hazard, as it states here. I end up sewing that, so I'll probably take some black yarn that I have, and I'm just going to use it to sew. So you can do the same, or you can use the plastic beads. Alright, so if you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button at the corner of the screen. There's playback options to go fast or slow. Now for all new stitching, I do repeat it 3 times step by step, and thereafter I will go at a normal pace. For me, I could go fast, but so when you see me going normal, it's too fast. Mind you, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and if you are a beginner, I'm not expecting anyone to go that fast. It's just, it's redundant, and we don't need to see that like in slow-mo and have, a 10-hour video. Anyway, this is the stuffing. This is really nice stuffing. I think maybe they give you enough for the character. They actually do sell the pouches of stuffing if you want more pouches. In my search to find the characters in the past, I saw that they do sell stuffing in case you run out. Or you can go on Amazon. I ordered a 32-ounce. Probably huge mistake, pun intended. But it's working out in the long run because I don't have to worry about my stuffing. Alright, you also get this little pouch. You can see you have your needle, your little bit of embroidery floss that you're supposed to sew the mouth with. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And then you have your safety eyes, which, I don't care if you put the safety in front of it. These are what they call them beads. Some people call them safety eyes. I just don't trust them. Anyway. Comes with a hook. If you check on the side very faintly, there's going to be a raised lettering and numbers. This one is a 3.5 millimeter. Oh, and I guess you can't see it, and you won't be able to see anyway. See that little vague writing? Millimeter hook. And then you get your instructions, which is great. I've been pulling up my phone, and I don't like doing that, but this is supposedly supposed to have everything you need. I used to dissect these on the video. Not doing that anymore. I'm just going to go straight into crocheting because that's what we need to do, right? Alright. Go this way. we have our pink yarn. Okay, we have our hot pink yarn. And then we have our tan camel. All right, so let's make a donut with, oh, Kiki. I feel like they meant to say khaki on here. These are instructions from overseas translated, so if you do find that it's a little weird sounding when you read it, it's probably because it was translated. These instructions are way better than the first 6. They had charts and it was like microscopic writing. So we have, they have evolved. Thank you, Crafter Square. All right. So here we have our yarn here. I normally like to pull the middle, but this looks like a hot mess. So I'm just going to pull whatever's easily accessible. It is going to roll around, which is a pain in the butt, but what can you do? You be very sparingly with the yarn. This is going to be hard for me because I love to use my yarn. But sometimes they don't make enough for the project, which is very annoying. All right, so let's read the first round of instructions. With the khaki yarn, not Kiki yarn, work 22 stitches. Cereal? All right. I mean, oh, 22 chains. Okay, so you can follow their visual aids, figures 1 through 4, or you can just follow me. So let me show you how to cast on your hook using the slip knot. So you're going to take your pinky and your middle ring finger and your thumb and just grip the end of the yarn here. Then you're going to take your index and middle finger and hold it apart. Okay, we are going to take our hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn, hook up. All right, not hook up, but make sure the hook is up. And then we're going to go down, out, and around to make it slide up and down. Okay. Again, perpendicular to the yarn, down, out, and around to make it slide up and down. You're going to slide it all the way down towards your thumb. You're going to take your middle finger on your right hand and just hold it where it crosses so that it's stable. And we're going to remove our left hand. So on our left hand, we're going to gather up some yarn. You don't need too much. And then we're going to pinch the end of the yarn again with your thumb and middle finger on your left hand. And now that you have more space, you want to drag your hook closer to your thumb again. And where that crosses, just pinch with your thumb and your middle finger so that you stabilize your project and you can't slide up and down anymore. And then we're going to do a yarn over. So a yarn over is basically taking this yarn and putting it over the hook. So, oh, I lost my pinch. Pinch it up. All right. We're going to do a yarn over like that. See how I put that over the hook? Now we're going to take this strand and pull it through this loop. So let's do that. Just like that. Now I'm going to overhand my hook here. Just hold it overhand. I'm going to make sure I grab that end piece. You don't want to lose it, right? Then what I'm going to do is take my, oh, and let's see, did I pull that? I don't think I cleared it. Hold on. Hold on. This yarn is, oh, not the best quality, see, so it wasn't going to help any. It starts to fray on you. It's not the best quality, so don't freak out. Don't think it's your fault. It's just low quality. All right, so overhand your hook. We're going to take our thumb and our index and we're going to push this knot towards your thumb on your left side, and you're going to do it to where you tighten up this knot or you hit a roadblock. That's your thumb. And once you hit either situation, then you want to take your thumb and your middle finger on your left hand and just pull that excess piece a little tighter. It doesn't have to be too tight, just to make that knot snug. Okay, and then I'm going to take my index and thumb and just grip the knot. And we're going to slide this knot towards our hook. So slide it over. Okay, Okay, you want to leave yourself some room because we're going to start our first chain stitch. I'm going to gather up more yarn here. I go crazy with this. You don't have to. There's actually a nicer way to do this, but I'm kind of like hardcore with this. So, all right. Now you're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and you just want to hold that knot. Again, it's to stabilize your project. Okay. So back to underhanding my hook. You want to do a yarn over with this yarn. So let's yarn over. And then we're going to pull this through the loop. So pull that through the loop. And you have this really nice braid. Doesn't look like much right now. This is a chain stitch. So let me show you again. We're going to yarn over, pull this strand through the loop. And now we have 2 chains, and it's slowly starting to look like a braid. For those that know what a braid is. All right, let's do this again. Yarn over and pull that through the loop. So now we have 3 chains, and it looks like 3 braids. So let us do 19 more. Okay. If you need to look back and do the other 3 to get the hang of chains, that would be a good idea to do, to rewind the video. And I stopped counting. Why? I don't know, because I'm talking. This is a great way to practice. You know, if you feel like you're not up for the donut yet, just sit here and make a million chains, undo it, and then redo it. That's going to help you get consistency. So you can see my braiding is nice and pretty much almost even. If you're a beginner, don't freak out. Yours is probably going to be different sizes. You want to try, I do underhand hook because you want the stitches to be kind of loose. But like I said, at the same time, you got to worry about the yarn because they never give you like a good amount of yarn. It's probably just enough to finish the project. So being tight stitch is probably better, but it's really difficult to learn how to crochet with. So let's see how many I have here. When you're counting back and checking your stitch count, you always want to start from the hook. So the one, you don't count the one that's on the hook, you count the ones that are off of it. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17, okay, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. All right, so we have 22 stitches. You can double check just to make sure. Sometimes you count and you know, you're off by some. 15, 18, 21, 22. Okay, so we just completed round 1. Next we are going to be doing crochet the 22nd chain stitch with the first stitch together. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be a slip stitch in a way. Okay, but it doesn't say slip stitch. This is where the instructions are a little tricky. So let's look at figures 5 through 6. All right. It looks like they want you to do a slip stitch. Dang, Gina. All right, let me see. Okay, so now what I do is you can put your hook into the braiding like this. See how that's done? I'm holding the braid flat and putting it on the top loop or back loop. And these bottom ones are called the front loop. I'm actually going to put it in the back. So if you turn it backwards, you see these little humps here. Those are the back sides of the braid. So rather than put it in the front loops, I'm going to put it in the back. So let's put our hook into that back loop. I call it a back hump. And we are going to, hello, we are going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay. Let me just make sure. These things are so tiny. All right. Hold on a sec. All right. So we pulled up through the first loop and we're going to pull up through the second. All right, I'm just calling it. And that's chaining, crochet the 22nd chain stitch with the first stitch together. Okay. So now we're going to do a chain 1. And I know I'm saying this and it's not written here, but it needs to be a chain 1. You need the height because you're going to see this. If we just started doing a the single crochet stitches, it's going to be squashed. The first one is going to be squashed. So how to do a chain 1, and you can kind of see it here in figure 6. So I think it's something that's not written. But what you want to do is do a yarn over, and we're going to do our chain 1. This chain 1 is going to build the height for your round, your next round. What we're going to do is stick your hook back into the same stitch that we combined. So if you can see it here, we have our chain 1. You want to stick your hook back into that same stitch and into the first chain that we made, right? And then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch made. Oddly enough, I'm looking at this and they didn't even give you these markers, which is weird because they show you to put a marker. You see that orange thing? All right, so in the other characters, I think I did receive at least 1. So there had been nothing, unless it's hiding somewhere here. They didn't give you 1. It's a pity. But you can get these at a hobby store or on Amazon. You can buy them in packs. The more, the better. So these are all that's been collected from all the kits that I've done since starting to put crochet videos on my channel. So what you're going to do if you have this, if you don't, you can try cutting a different color yarn, but then again, you know, you don't want to waste it. Maybe this color, because I think this one is only used for sprinkles, but just a different color yarn, and you can slip through this braid. So our single crochet stitch that we completed made this really cute braid on the top. See, like I showed you before, this would be the back loop, this would be the front loop. You want to take your marker if you have one, or if you want to take some yarn, you just slip it underneath the front and back loops of that stitch we just made. You want to make sure you clear it, which I didn't. You want to make sure you're not piercing any bits of the yarn, and then you're going to close it. If it's yarn, you just have to leave a long enough piece so that it won't slip out so easy. But this is going to be the mark of the first stitch of the last round. Okay, so we have to do an increasing stitch, and basically what that is 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So how we do that is you want to stick your hook into the next stitch. Again, I'm not using the braiding. I'm turning it on its back side, and I'm putting the hook into the back loop. So put your hook into the next stitch there. All right, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We have our first single crochet stitch for our increasing stitch. And again, basically it's just 2 in 1 stitch. So stick your hook back into that same back loop we just used, and you want to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So you see we have our first single crochet stitch, and then we have our increasing stitch, which is 2 single crochet stitches coming out of that 1 chain. All right, so we just have to repeat this 10 more times. So into the next stitch, stick your hook into the next stitch. Okay, make sure you clear it. This yarn isn't the best. Okay, then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We have our single crochet stitch. We're going to do an increasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. Make sure you clear the yarn there. Okay, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then put your hook into that same loop that we just used, and you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have our increasing stitches with 1, 2 single crochet stitches. We have our single crochet stitch, our next increasing stitch with 2 single crochet stitches, and then our first single crochet stitch. Let's do this again. Into the next stitch, you put in your hook. Again, I'm using the back loop. Put in your hook. Make sure you clear the yarn. Okay. Then we are going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then we're going to do our increasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. I'm going in the back loop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then stick your hook back into that same loop that we just used, and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we should have our 3 increasing stitches along with our 3 single crochet stitches, and we just have to repeat this 8 more times. So this is where you want to keep track. If you ever get lost, you know where your first stitch is, and then like I said, you can count if you can kind of do the math and keep track of how many stitches you have. But I'm gonna go in now and repeat this 8 more times. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And last one, as we're pulling the chains on this chain strip here, the stitching might be getting tighter, so don't freak out. Just try to look for the next stitch and just shove that hook in there. Okay, this is the last one I need to do. Okay, so now before we do anything next, let's just count to see that we have 33 stitches. So again, like I said, from the hook, don't count the one on the hook, start counting the ones off of it. 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 33. Okay, so if you lose count or not confident about that count, you could always count twice. Counting twice is always good. All right, so we are going to do a slip stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to grab your yarn, and temporarily we can leave this on here. We are going to put our hook into that stitch. So I'm pulling on it so you can see a big loop. Makes it easier for you to put in the hook. We're going to yarn over, and I'm going to slip through everything. So pull this through and slip through everything, and that's a slip stitch. So we can remove this. All right, let me see. Now, I just want to check to see where they like to put their marker. So before we put at the first stitch we created, now I think it already, that orange thing here is showing the marker. So they're doing it in the very beginning. So we're going to actually put it where the last stitch we created, just like we did before, but this, instead of this being the first stitch, this is the last stitch, obviously. So slip it underneath that braiding of the last stitch we made. Make sure you clear it. You don't want to poke through your yarn like that. Okay, and then we're going to do round 3. So here they say it, so that's lovely. We're going to chain 1, and in brackets we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches, an increasing stitch 11 times. Now when it's in a bracket, they want you to repeat that whole instruction 11 times. So the 2 single crochet stitches and the increasing stitch. So altogether we should well, that's wrong. Oh man. Okay, we already have 33 stitches here. If we do 2 single crochet stitches and an increasing stitch 11 times, we're not going to have the same number of stitches. So, you know, when you see this, don't freak out. Once you understand the quirks of the instructions, you will know right away that they screwed up. And it happens. With these instructions, though, it happens all the stinking time. So, let's do this. We're going to chain 1, right? You want to do your yarn over, and we're going to pull that through the loop. So we have our chain 1. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. So, let's see where they put it. 11. Okay. So into that same stitch that we did the chain 1, you want to stick your hook in. So basically what we did before. So stick your hook in that same stitch we did the chain 1, but you also want to carry that stitch that we did a slip stitch with. So it's the back braid right here. Slip your hook under. Okay. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those loops. You want to leave the last one still on here. So now we have 2 loops on here. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and then we have our first single crochet stitch. We have to do 2, so into the next stitch, front and back loops, go under the braid there. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, so yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We have our 2 single crochet stitches. So where you see this marker is actually this first single crochet stitch. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do an increasing stitch. We've done these, so stick your hook into the next stitch. We are going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to go into that same stitch that we just used. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So we have our first bracket, the 2 single crochet stitches and the increasing stitch. Now we just have to do this 10 more times. So 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do our increasing stitch into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then stick your hook back into that same stitch we just used, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so 2 in, we have 9 to go. So 2 single crochet stitches, 1, 2. All right, then we're going to do our increasing stitch into the next stitch, do 1 single crochet stitch, into that same stitch, do 2 single crochet stitch, the second. All right, so now we have 3 under our belt. We have to do 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, make sure you clear that yarn. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm pulling little threads, so, and then I lost count here. 7. Right, and then the last one. Okay, last one here, last increasing stitch. And then, so I don't have to count it. Let's see. Looks like we'll probably have 44. So this 33 is supposed to be a 44. But we're going to count back to make sure we have 44. So 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 44. So we're going to do a slip stitch, stick your hook into that first single crochet stitch we did. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all the loops off your hook. So we have that right there. I want to move the marker up. So where we did that last slip stitch, you want to slip your yarn or marker just under that braid. Make sure you clear the yarn. And then, so now rows 4 through 7 are going to be 44 single crochet stitches all the way through, slip stitch at the end like we just did. So I'm going to do round 4 with you. So this is round 4. Now the reason why you need these is so that you can keep track of your rounds and your stitches. So I wouldn't recommend cutting a million strips of these because you might need them. Unfortunately. So if you have yarn lying around, or maybe some sort of thread or something. But yeah, like I said, I highly recommend getting these. So if this is round 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's only 3. You can try to just focus for the next 3 rounds so you don't, oh wait, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so you don't lose count. Or you can risk it. But I'm going to show you how to do the round 4. So we're going to chain 1. And we're going to do 44 single crochet stitches. You're going to stick your hook into that same stitch that we made our chain 1. So in here, and as you know, it's slip stitched into this back braiding here. So you want to slip it under that as well. We're going to yarn over and pull up through those loops, but you want to leave the last one on here. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to slip through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. We're going to do this 43 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If I totally miscount, because I'm like zoned out right now, you can laugh at me, but I'm also going to count when I'm done. So I'll double check my work. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43. So that's probably because I didn't count my first single crochet stitch that I did, but again, like I said, It's always good to count more than once just to be sure. So we got to count 44 stitches. So 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then 44. So stick your hook into the 44th stitch, which is the first single crochet stitch we did. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. Yarn over and pull through all loops off your hook. And we're not going to remove this time. This is going to help us keep track of our rounds in case you have to do anything in between. We're going to take our marker and you're going to slip it underneath the braid of the last stitch you made. And you see how we're making sure we clear that yarn and not piercing through it. Close your marker and we're good to go for the next 3 rounds. So I wanted to show you that so that you have an idea of what 44 single crochet stitches is. That's probably like the easiest relaxing part. And then when you do more than one stitch, that's great because then that gives you time to, like, you know, when you get better, crochet and watch TV at the same time. But I'm going to do the rest in silence, so I'm just going to pause this and then we're going to mute some of this stuff so you don't have to hear, me. Okay, so I completed rounds 4 through 7. I removed the markers. It doesn't really tell you what to do after, but in the photo it kind of shows, you know, just chilling. So I'm just gonna pull the hook out with while pulling that loop of yarn out like this, just so I can remove the hook and we can start the pink. But see, we're just gonna leave it like this so you don't lose that loop, and we're gonna set this aside. This is how much yarn I have left. So like I said, you have to kind of, you know, be comfortable and not make too tight stitching, but at the same time don't go too crazy, because there isn't always enough yarn. Okay, so now we're going to do the pink, and we're going to do the same rounds to do this. So take your ring and pinky and thumb, hold the end of the yarn, take your index and middle and hold that apart. Take your hook side up. We're going to place it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop. You can slide your hook up and down, slide it towards your thumb. We're going to take our middle finger and just press where it crosses so we can let go of our left. I'm going to gather up some yarn here. Pinch the end of your yarn, and we're going to slide our hook back down towards our thumb, and where it crosses you just want to pinch it with your thumb and your middle finger so that you stabilize your hook. Then we're going to do a yarn over like that, and we're going to pull this through the loop like that. Then I'm going to overhand my hook like this, re-pinch the end of the yarn here, and then with my index and thumb I'm going to push this knot towards my other thumb, and you want to push it down so you can't anymore, right? Either by tightening it or if it's too close to your thumb. Once you get that, you want to take your thumb and middle finger and just gently pull the excess piece to tighten up this yarn a little bit. It doesn't have to be too tight. Then you want to grab the knot and slide it up towards the hook. So we'll do that. Leave a little bit of space because we're going to start our stitches. So with the pink yarn now, we're going to do 22 chains. Stabilize your project by holding the knot with your thumb and your middle finger. And we're going to do 22 chains. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so we have our 22 chains. You can always double check just to make sure that there's 22 by counting from the hook. Don't count the loop that's on the hook. Start counting the chains. 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. Alright, so now we can continue with round 2. Okay, we will be joining the 22nd chain to the first chain. Right, so you see this beautiful braiding we have here. We are going to flip it on its back, and you see like the humps. We're going to be putting our hook into the humps instead of the braiding, because, you know, again, like, I don't know at the end what is going to be exposed, but when we did that here, you can see the braid is still intact. If we did it the normal way of sticking it in the braid, you wouldn't see that. All right, so let's take the end of this pink, and I'm going to put my hook into the back loop of the first stitch. Like that. See how it's all humpy in the back here and all braidy on the other side? All right. Then I'm going to do a yarn over, and we're going to pull through all loops like that. Then we're going to chain one, so yarn over and pull through the loop to do our chain one, and then we're going to stick our hook back into the 22nd chain and the back hump, and we're going to start our first single crochet stitch. So yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops there, leave the last one on your hook. Now you have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. I'm going to stick my marker underneath the braid of the first stitch we made. Alright, so now we have to do an increasing stitch. So this is 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So into the next stitch, we're going to put our hook into the back loop, not in the braid, but into the back loop. And I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's a single crochet stitch. We got to do 2. So put your hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have that 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch, and then we have our single crochet stitch here. Alright, so now we only have to repeat this 10 more times. So single crochet stitch, increasing stitch, okay, repeat this 9 more times, single crochet stitch, increasing stitch, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, we did this 3 times, we just have to repeat this 8 more times. So one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'm going to count back 30, 33 and do a slip stitch. 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 33. Stick your hook into the 33rd stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to remove my marker and place it under the braid of the last stitch we just made. And then we're going to do round 3. So next we are going to chain 1 and do the 2 single crochet stitches and increasing stitch 11 times. Do a slip stitch and not 33 stitches in the end. We have 44 stitches in the end. Okay. Let's chain 1. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Again, put your hook into that same slip stitch bunch that we did to complete round 1. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to do another single crochet stitch, do an increasing stitch, 1, 2, which is basically 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. Then we just have to repeat this 10 more times. So 2 single crochet stitches, 1, 2. Then our increasing stitch, which is 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch, 1, 2. Then we have to repeat this 9 more times, 2 single crochet stitches, 1, 2. Then we got to do our increasing stitch, which is 2 single crochet stitches, 1, 2 in the same stitch. Then we just have to repeat this 8 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to count back 44 stitches and do a slip stitch. 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 44. Stick your hook into the 44th stitch. We are going to do that slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through everything off your hook. And then we're going to remove this marker and move it up to the last stitch that we made underneath that braid. So then we have to do rows 4 through 7 again, but now in pink. So if this is 4, 5, 6, 7, we are going to do this round of instructions for 4 through 7, which is basically a chain 1 and then 44 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch to end up with 44 stitches, and then we'll see what's next. So I'm going to do this in silence. If you need to go back to the khaki yarn, you can go check that out, but hopefully it's pretty straightforward for you guys. Okay, so finished the pink side of this, and this is how much pink I have left over. And we're gonna check out the instructions and see what they want us to do next. Let's see what you got. All right, sewing up all the parts of the donut. All right. Insert the eyes in the pink yarn piece, figures 1 through 2. So, I love how they do the illustrations. A very great step up as opposed to the charts that we used to have once upon a time. However, these images are not big enough. I mean, yeah, I'm blind. Not really, but it's, you know, why don't you just say stick eyes in between rows, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So counting from the inside of the ring, it looks like we will be putting the eyes between rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we gotta look between rounds 3 and 4. And you wanna pick a nice side. So, by the way, I don't know how I can better explain this, but this is the wrong side of the donut. This is the inside. When you flip it, you know, you want to make sure that you see this. I don't know how to explain it. If you can kind of, I mean, how we've been going around in this, if you lay this out like this, we've been going around in a clock, right? So however you've been spinning, that's the side you need to see. Like if you are flipped this one, I guess you're still doing that. I don't know. But it's, I guess the braiding at the end is facing you. Let's see if we had it this way. You see, there you go. The braid is facing inside. This would be the wrong side. So if you invert this, make sure to know that you're on the right side of things. You want to see that braiding. Okay, so this is the right side. This is the wrong side. Okay, so now we're gonna put these eyes between row 3 and 4, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna use my own yarn to sew the eyes on. I'm not using the plastic pieces, so I've tried using their pieces actually for this little Grogu. I did, because this is not going to a child, unless you consider myself a child sometimes, which I am. I know I'm not going to be choking on this, maybe. So I tried using the actual safety eyes, and man, they were really hard to put on. So if you're using that, I actually had to use, where is it? I actually had to use my like utility knife. It had like a plier. You probably saw it if you saw that video for Grogu. I just got that at a Cracker Barrel. It was a like a novelty hammer that turned into a utility knife, and it had all these things. But anyway, threading up some black, I'm gonna count between 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got it here. Now I'm gonna start one. Let's see how these eyes are kind of little beady, so I'm gonna just go around 1 stitch. Okay, just 1 stitch. You can make it any size you want, really. Well, I guess I should have, here we go. I should have just, since we have access to the wrong side, we can tie our knot on the wrong side. I forgot. All right. So we have that. I'm gonna tie this around, you know, up to you, once or twice. Doesn't have to go crazy. Don't tie it too tight. I'm gonna try to drag this to the other eye, so, you know, make sure it's long enough. This is a great way to hide your knots when you're sewing. You can just stick it to the inside. All right, so I'm gonna go around this one stitch, I don't know, 3. Let's see what 3 times looks like. I want it to be nice and bulgy. Obviously there's limitations. You can't really make a circle. I mean, unless you know how to do that embroidery stuff, which I do not know how to do. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Call it a day. Okay. Then, you know, it doesn't tell you how far apart. So what we're going to do is look at this illustration and try to count the number of stitches. And you'll just have to guess, because this could be a stitch 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's kind of folded. Let's see this one. And it's farther away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5. Yeah, wonderful. So count 5 stitches apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I actually think maybe it's only 4, because this looks like it's too far away, but anyway. All right, when you're dragging your yarn across, make sure there's enough slack so that when we stuff this, it's not going to pull. And then I think I went around 4 times. Two, 3, oops, sorry, 3, 4, okay. And once we have that done, I'm going to tie this off, double knot. Don't make it too tight. So again, you want enough to where it'll, you know, not pinch up your donut when you stuff it. And then I'm going to grab my scissor and cut off the excess piece. So we have our eyes. You might have popped your eyes in. I sewed mine in. So that's what it looks like. All right. Next, put the pink and khaki pieces to pieces likes the picture 3. Okay. And sew them together. Okay. All right, so we're sandwiching and sewing. The thing is, they didn't tell you to fasten off. It doesn't say it. So I'm going to teach you that. We're going to do that to the khaki one first. So what you're going to want to do is get your hook. Let's slip it back into this overly large loop that we made. Okay, and then we're going to pull that end piece to tighten that up. All right, to fasten off, it's fairly simple. We're going to do like we make a chain stitch. You want to yarn over, and we're going to pull this all the way out. And if you have a lot more than this, you'll probably just have to cut off some of it, but there wasn't much left here. And I have a tangle here, so all right. Pull it all the way out, and then we're going to tighten this up, tighten that stitch up. Okay, then we are going to just cut, you know, an inch or so. Okay, same goes for the pink. We're going to get our actually, you don't need your hook. Let me show you another way. This overly large loop that we did, because I have a lot more pink left over. Okay, so if I put my hand through this overly large loop, I'm just going to grab this whole thing and pull it through the loop. So grab your bunch of yarn, pull it through the loop. So you have, see, it's kind of going back there, but it's inside the loop. And then you start pulling that loop with the excess piece. You're going to get the same situation that we just did with the khaki. And you want to pull it to where you tighten that stitch. But instead of cutting it, we need it to sew. I mean, I'm not a sewer, so I don't know how much you need, but I'm going to make sure that I have enough to sew all the way around and then some. Okay, so maybe double the circumference of your donut. Do they want you to sew the inside? Jeez, this is wonderful. Alright, so they still have holes in their instructions, but what they want you to do, alright, and it's funny because you need to sew the mouth on. When do they have you sew the mouth on? Alright, they have you sewing the mouth all the way down here. We're not doing that. I am going to sew the mouth on now because we're going to be sewing this closed, and then you have to hide your knots in a funky way, and I don't know how to do that and explain it to you like easily. So let's do the mouth now. Okay, slip this onto your needle. I didn't use the other black yarn because that one is thick, this one is thinner, and for the mouth I wanted it to be thinner, I guess. But in this case you can use the embroidery floss. This might take you a minute, I mean, unless you use the whole thing. So I just happen to have this, and I'll just save that embroidery floss for another day. But okay, so they have you put on the eyes. Let's find out how and where they want you to put the mouth. So the mouth is going to go on the outer edge, and it looks like it's going to go one row right below the eyes. So I'm going to put mine right here, and I might have counted this wrong because it looks a little lower than it should be, but whatever. Okay, so if I have 5 stitches, I guess I can make my mouth, you know, how big of a mouth do we want? They don't have a big mouth. I don't want to make it 3 long. I'm going to pierce. So if I have 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to pierce the outside ones in half. Oh, I'm going to come up from the inside so that I can tie my knot from the inside. So I'm coming up from the middle here of that stitch, which is not best, but I want a mouth but not a big mouth, if that makes any sense. Alright, leave some piece here, and then I'm going to go in on the 3rd one in the middle. So pierce that stitch. Ideally 2 stitches, but since I had put them 5 apart, you want it to be even. So here's the mouth, right? And I'm going to try to see if I can make it curved. I'm going to put a little loop at the bottom. So what I mean by that is I'm going to come up from the middle of the 3rd stitch in the middle right there, but on the row below it, right? And I want it to come from the inside of this black mouth because I want to pull it. You want to make that little smile, you know, even though they're going to be eaten, at least make them happy. And then I'm going to just make a loop over it. So you want to make your yarn go over the mouth, and maybe you won't see it. we'll see how it looks. I've done that before, and I forget which project I did, but there it is. So it kind of curves your mouth for you. And then I'm going to tie it off. I don't think I need to do more than one because this yarn is thick enough. If you have the embroidery floss and you want to do it more than one time, just repeat those steps of where to put your needle to make the mouth, and it'll work out for you. Okay, it's not even in the middle, but what can you do? All right, then I'm going to cut this piece off, and we're going to get to sewing. All right. Now, we know that this is the inside piece. Let's see. It has you sewing the inside first. So this is what I'm actually going to do. Let's put your needle, let's put your pink onto your needle. Okay. Now we have to get up into that inside. You can drag it. I'm gonna maybe put it through some stitches, you know, so that it's a nice, like, simple coming up from the stitches out of your way, really. And then you want to come up right where one of those stitches are. So wait a second. Okay, don't pull it too tight. You don't want to scrunch up your donut. But I'm going to put it like underneath one of my stitches, underneath the braiding, so that I can sew these together. And this is actually going to go, you want all this stuff to face the good side. All right, so now that we have that done, flatten these extra colors. We're going to go in with our khaki, and this side here is the good side. As we said, we're sandwiching this because this is the inside of the donut, this is the inside of the donut. We want to be able to sew these two pieces together, but we want the good side facing out. So the good side here is facing out, the good side here is facing out. So they should obviously have the same stitch count. So we're going to sew stitch for stitch doing this. And you just want to sew all the way around. So I got my needle under both of those donuts. Okay, and we're just going to do this. Just a simple, you know, stitch for stitch, going under each one, pulling it. Should be the same number of stitches, so there's no need to count here. I thought this was going to be like the easiest one of the 6 that came out, and I mean it's all right, but it's still involved. Especially if you're unfamiliar with the instructions, especially if you're having a hard time seeing the illustrations. So if you are doing this, and maybe I should have mentioned this earlier in the video, and you are struggling, that's pretty normal, because I struggled the second row of instructions. Okay. All right, I'm coming back around, and I'm going to show you how to kind of hide the yarn here. So let's just do this one more. All right, so here we are. We did the whole thing all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up so you have the pink on one side, the khaki on the other. I'm just going to stick this right in the middle of the two donuts. Try to clear the yarn if you want. It's not necessary. You can jack it all up if you want, but I'm going to pull it through so I can get onto the inside. So we have our outside, which is the good side, and then we have our inside that's butterflied right now, and this is starting to look like shrimp. I think I'm getting hungry. Okay. So turn, all right, sew them together, turn over the two pieces. This is the front side. Okay, sew the outside edge stuff with fiber fill. So now we're going to do the outside, 5 and 6. Obviously we have to leave enough room. Let's see how much room we're going to need. You could probably attempt to roll a little tube and do it that way, but I don't know. But anyway, the same thing like I did before, I'm going to just slip my needle up through like these stitches to get to the outer rim. Outer rim of the donut. From here. Okay, don't pull it too much. Then we're going to just go in through a stitch just underneath it. All right, now we can sew our pieces together. And I'm realizing I'm doing this in lefty. I am a lefty. But it'll be the same for righty. There's nothing really different. I'm just going to go clockwise. Oh, so I was saying clockwise, you're probably doing it counter for righty. Anyway, line up your stitches. Okay. And go into each stitch. Again, same number of stitches, so you don't need to count or anything. Just make sure you're putting in the needle on each of the one stitch of the khaki and the pink. But don't do it all the way. So we're going to hand stuff this with our stuffing. So what you're going to want to do is leave an opening that's comfortable and big enough for you to, you know, shove the stuffing in there. Oftentimes with these kits, they have you stuffing it at like 6 or 8 stitches wide, and sometimes that's, for me, that's not big enough in my hands. They're not like big at all. So, but yeah, this is a good opportunity to make sure that any of the excess pieces that we created with the eyes, the mouth, the end piece of, you know, the donut, you can use this opportunity to hide all those pieces so that there's nothing sticking out of your project. I hope you guys are enjoying this video, and I hope that it is helping you, even to the smallest. You know, I'm not a teacher at all. I just try to look at the instructions and see if I can do it. So hopefully I've conveyed that in a way that makes it easier to understand. Okay, this looks like it's going to be one video though, so I'm liking that. I think the whale that we did was 2 videos. I like when I, you know, don't have to split it up so much, but some of these projects are so long that you really have no choice. If you are watching these videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Watch time definitely helps me out, and it helps me continue to create these videos for you. I know these things are really tough, but if you really need a one-on-one, I do offer that in my membership packages. You can check out the perks. When you click on join, you'll be able to see all those perks. Do use the drop downs. I am a nail channel, but it also works with crafts. So I know that the first tier is pretty basic. Viewer request priorities are in that section. There is more stuff, but I'm just naming a few of the highlights. So tier 2, you do get a birthday present after 1 year of commitment. And if you are into crafts, or even if you would want to do nails, like it'll be just a specific little gift for you, and that can all be requested via email, via Instagram DM. Tier 3, you get on top of the birthday gift, you also get an anniversary membership anniversary gift. And tier 4, you get, I think I only have 4 levels. If it's not 4 or 5, one of them is 4 or 5, is the, you get 6, I forget how many sessions, but you get certain number of sessions to do a one-on-one Zoom. If anybody has ever had a Zoom meeting before, it might be in a Zoom meeting, it might be in like a StreamYard meeting, but I can sit with you for a session and you know, work with you while you're doing your projects. That way, if you have any questions, you can just ask me there on the spot. If you get stuck, I can you know, obviously be there to help you. So check out those perks. And hopefully there's something there that could be useful for you. Oh, shoot. And I'm talking and I did the whole thing. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to just undo this. Just a little bit. I don't know exactly how much I need. So, obviously more than that. But you want enough room to be able to stuff your donut. I'm going to use the whole pack. See how big of a donut that is, because we're looking at some Krispy Kreme donuts. We're not looking at some Dunkin' donuts. Although I love both, but you know, Krispy Kreme just makes it extra if you don't have it. Check it out. All right. We're going to come in and stuff with our stuffing. All right, let's take our stuffing here. Jeez. Okay. And I'm going to feed this through the donut. So, stuff with fiber fill, continue to sew. All right. So we have to take little bits at a time, and I would just stuff and try to like get to the middle. So this is going to take a bit, depending on how long this video is right now, I might speed this up. But seeing as this is filling itself up fairly quickly, I might not need to use all of it. Comment below, let me know if your Dollar Tree has the rolls of stuffing. Like I said, they do sell them. I've seen it. But at the time, I couldn't even find a single one of these characters. And I'm talking about like the original 6. So I was like, I'm not getting any extra stuffing if I don't even have kits. But I should have gotten it, because over time you guys out there have been very gracious enough to send me the instructions so that I can help you complete these characters. So yeah, maybe ultimately I should have bought my own little bag. But like I said, I ordered a 32-ounce package of fiberfill, and it's a lot. When it delivered, it came in a huge box, and I was like, what did I order? And then I opened it up, and there it was. All right, so I have used all of it up. We can kind of play with it to get the fiberfill to spread out evenly, but just remember it's a donut, and of course in a perfect world we'd love to get that perfectly shaped and decorated donut. Krispy Kreme, I believe, is one of the chains that, you know, takes pride in their donut making, but we all know that not one is always going to be the same. There's variation in all, so I think it's going to give it character. And like I say, save all these instructions. I have done remakes to where I change up colors. That way it can have a completely different end result. So, you know, if you're not into pink frosting and you're into the chocolate ones like I am, like, I think, you know, they're both all right, but when we pick it out of a box, I tend to ignore the strawberry. My hubby likes the strawberry and I like the chocolate. So ultimately, you can imagine you can do a ton of combinations with this instruction if you wanted. Okay, so we are nearing the complete closure of this donut, and I always, as you know, have issues just closing projects. I'm not a sewer, so I don't know how to do it, but I'm just going to go around and try to make a knot. I mean, if you have your way of doing it, please share it in the comments below. Otherwise, yeah, I just do some weird thing that I can't even explain. I mean, you can just tie a knot, really, or you can crochet, like do a slip knot and then put it all the way through or something. Oh, it's really windy outside. Okay, and then I'm going to take the needle, the hook, you know, kind of push it just under the surface, come up next to the excess piece, and we're gonna yarn over and pull this into the donut so that it's gone. And then I'm just gonna, like, I don't know, massage the stuffing to kind of even itself out in this donut here. You want to push your stuffing to sections that need less fiber fill. Okay. So it's not perfect, but look, the smile is off. Oh my goodness gracious. That'd be another reason to like not. I guess I was off. How am I off? It ends here. Oh, maybe I should have gone through here. Made a smaller mouth. Oh, what can you do? All right, let's see. Well, I guess this is why you would probably want to sew the smile on. I was a little off. And then use dark pink yarn to sew the decoration. So the decoration is just sprinkles. So we're going to take our magenta, or in this case, they're saying dark pink. And you're not going to need a lot of this. I mean, I wouldn't use all of it, but I'm going to use a decent length. And I'm going to thread up my needle. Okay. Then let's try starting on the inside here. You want to be able to hide a knot. So we're going to do this. I'm going to tie a knot twice. And I'm going to do it loosely. Like, you don't want to pull real hard. Second knot you can pull hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook into the spot where I came up in, and I'm going to pop up in another section. This is just going to be random sprinkles now, so there's no rhyme or reason for where you're sticking your needle. But I'm going to pull this knot, try to pull it into the donut, and you can also help it by, again, going underneath the surface, coming up where the excess piece is, yarning over, and pulling into your donut so it hides that knot. And we can continue making our sprinkles, and then of course do it in different angles. We're going to do this all the way around. This is looking pretty cute, I must admit. And you can imagine you can do a lot of different colors with this, so. Oops, I made that like kind of the same direction, which isn't cool. Okay, once you get to a stopping point, I don't have to go too crazy about this, but we're going to tie another knot. So, however you do that. Okay, so this is it, you guys. We have our donut made. Here is our donut reference. Okay, and here is our donut. Not too shabby. See, even their smiles off to the side, so it's okay. But comment below, let me know how your donut went. Let me know if you've made any variations to the donut. And just overall, what do you think of this kit? A lot better from the first 6, I can tell you that, but it still needs a little bit more help, and it just needs quality control. Like I said, for the first 6 characters, I mean, you know, it goes a long way to just have someone review the work just once so that typos and all this stuff don't pop up. At any rate, so thank you so much, you guys, for watching. If you have any more requests for these characters, please comment below. I will be doing more of them. There are 4 remaining. I will be doing these in conjunction with all the other kits that I am currently working on. If you have not noticed all the other videos that I've done thus far. I also do nails, of course, so if you like that sort of thing, check that out as well. Like I said, if you need extra help and need the one-on-one Zooms, I try my best to just be able to comment, reply to your comment, and answer some questions that you have. But if you still feel like you are struggling, I do have in my perks some one-on-one sessions to for you to, you know, either ask your questions or do the project and get, you know, show me where you're getting stuck, so hopefully I can help you out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.